Hi, my name is Mrs. Orrock. I am your child's teacher for this year. I decided to make this little kind of open house virtual video presentation because we can't really meet in person. And I'm hoping that I'm going to answer some questions that you have. If I don't address them in this video, then please email me, reach out to me. Okay, I'm going to show you a few ways you can do that. All right, so in this little video, I'll introduce myself, tell you a little bit about me, and kind of explain some things that are going to be happening this school year. And I'm going to be showing you a slideshow. So bear with me as I get that ready for you. Hi, hopefully you can still see me here in the corner. I will be showing you a slideshow with just some important information. I just want to let you know this is the same slideshow that I'll be showing them on the first day of school, although on that slideshow, I'm going to be adding in a little bit more detailed information that they'll need to know. For example, school procedures. So of course, I am Mrs. Orrock. All about me. There are 10 kids in my family. I am a twin, so I am at number 9 of 10 kids, and I have 7 brothers. People usually are just like, how did you survive? They were all kind of wild and crazy, and now we're all really good friends. Originally, I'm from Montana. My family farmed. My dad was a farmer, and then eventually we moved to Evanston, Wyoming, and we thought it was so cool. It was like this city, you know? There was a rec center. It was amazing. And I went to school here. Eventually moved away, went to college, started teaching 5th grade in Utah, and then moved back here, taught 3rd grade at North, a couple years each place. 3rd grade at North, we moved to Colorado for my husband's doctorate program in physical therapy. And then we ended up back here, and I got to teach in my favorite place, Evanston. So I'm super excited, and I love 4th grade. This is my second year teaching 4th grade. Of course, like I mentioned, I've taught 5th, I've taught 3rd, I've taught like pre-K, I've taught like pretty much every age. And I'm just super excited to be back. My husband is a physical therapist at Wyoming Specialized Physical Therapy. It's the physical therapy clinic owned by Mike Chiquetta, and it's kind of by Loaf and Jug. So yeah, he works there. His name is Devin. Some fun things about me: I have naturally curly hair. It's usually just kind of crazy, and I have a daughter. Her name is Lucy. We call her Lulu. And we have a dog named Pearl. She's an Australian Shepherd. She's very cute. I'll show you a picture of her later. I love to hike and run. I love to weightlift, heavy weightlifting. I know, right? Usually I get weird looks when I say that, but I do. I bake very fancy cakes. I make a lot of cakes for weddings and birthdays and events. You'll see that later. I like to write in calligraphy. If you don't know what that is, that's just fancy handwriting. And things I like to eat and drink: I love Diet Coke, chocolate, really good pizza. And there's some bad pizza out there. And I love sushi and snacks, pretty much snack all day. So here's some pictures of my family. So over here on the left is my husband and I. He has a shaved head. So people always ask me, does he have curly hair too? Yes, my husband has curly hair as well. Both of us have naturally curly hair, but you wouldn't know because he shaves his head. I really like to be outdoors. This summer we did a lot of boating and wake surfing. That was fun. And as in the picture on the bottom is where we're hiking or climbing a Via Ferrata. If you don't know what that is, it's basically where you're connected to carabiners and attached to a mountain essentially, and you're not hooked into a rope. So it's kind of scary. On that mountain, I think it was like, it's in Colorado, it's in Telluride, and I can't remember the distance. I feel like it was 300 feet in the air, but that's what I like to do. We like to have some fun adventures. Like I mentioned, I have a daughter. She's 2, almost 2 in like about 2 weeks. We like to hike a lot. There's our puppy in the middle, Pearl. Well, she's kind of becoming not so much a puppy anymore. She's got really blue eyes. She's very, very sweet. I like to bake cakes. Like I mentioned, this is one of the cakes I made this summer. You're going to see here in a little while that I love sunflowers. They're one of my favorite flowers. I also love peonies, but I love sunflowers. And so I did a sunflower cake. I do lots of cakes. And there's a picture of us when we were camping in Star Valley this summer. Please note that the information coming up is going to change, or not necessarily is going to change, but could change just because of all the changes that are happening, especially with COVID and school, could change throughout the year. So we will keep you updated. Here are some classroom rules and new information. These rules mostly apply to students in my classroom. I just expect kindness in my classroom. I'm a really fun person and I'm a kind person, and I expect my kids to be kind to each other. I expect honesty and just listening to one another, listening to the teacher, being respectful, and following directions. And I promise that this school year will be so much fun, and we always have a really good time. Here comes the dreaded slide. So masks. Here's my mask. Okay. Now my mask has a place where I insert a filter, and so you have to kind of decide what kind of mask that you want. I wear a mask like this, but there's lots of different types of masks. I also have a face shield that I'll be using sometimes. And the school, just to let you know, will be providing what they call gaiters, basically cloth that you can pull up over your nose for the kids if they choose to use them. So some information I'm going to go ahead and show you about the masks. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. Go ahead and pause it, and then you'll be able to read it on your own. Basically, how it's going to work. When we can't physically distance 6 feet or more, we're going to be required to wear a mask, okay? And to do that, we have to make sure, well, the reason why we're doing it is to be safe. And to do that, we have to make sure that we bring our masks to school. I will have disposable masks if kids do forget those. If you have a cloth mask like me, feel free to wash it as needed. And I really only expect the kids to wear them in my classroom when they're at the tables in the lesson, okay? That's when they can't physically distance 6 feet apart. I'll show you what that looks like. I'll show you the classroom in just a minute. But when they can be 6 feet apart in the classroom working independently, how they choose, they can kind of decide where they want to sit. As far as physically distancing goes, it has to be at least 6 feet, and then they can safely take off their mask if they feel comfortable. When it's not required is when they're eating lunch, when they're outside, 6 feet physical distancing. The school will be buying some mask lanyards, basically something to attach the mask that if they take it off, it won't, they don't have to set it anywhere, it'll just stay attached to the lanyard. And we really are doing this to protect your kids, and that way we can be safe. Okay, what happens if you get infected with COVID or you're around someone without a mask? Let's say you don't have a mask on and they, for more than 15 minutes, that's what we're being told by the public health. And we're basically being told if that does happen, if you get COVID or you're around someone with COVID and you're not wearing a mask for more than 15 minutes, then there's that quarantine period. This is all information that the school has already sent out. So check your email, see if they've sent it to you. And if you have symptoms, 14-day quarantine, but only a 10-day quarantine if you don't have symptoms, okay? So if you're asymptomatic. And it's not, I know that sounds like really intense, but I'll explain a little bit more about what the school's going to be doing. And we're providing so many different ways to learn. Of course, we're learning in the classroom, and we're going to be learning, having different options, right? So if you're gone, I'll provide your child with materials. Okay, so attendance. We understand that this is just a crazy time of life, and in addition to getting colds in the fall and all that, we got COVID going on. So we understand that if you're sick, you're sick, and we want you to stay home and stay healthy, okay? All right, cleaning and disinfecting. This is super important because that's how we get rid of those, germs. And that's how we get rid of the strains that are, that have the COVID in them. So what we want to do is disinfect. And hopefully, you can't really see it. My screen's blocking, but that's okay. All right, so what needs to be cleaned in the classroom? Tables. I'll show you what those look like. Chairs, reading chairs. I have some reading comfy chairs. I have disinfectant, lots of disinfectant in my classroom, and that we'll be using if students choose to sit in the comfy chairs that I will, and the students who are sitting them will just let me know they sat in them. We'll get them disinfected. That way, the next person that sits in the comfy chair, it'll be safe for them. Chromebooks. So of course, when you're in the upper grades, you get a Chromebook. That's exciting. And we'll make sure those are disinfected, especially go from home to school. Make sure to disinfect your hands and books. I have a classroom library, and of course we have the school library, and I'll make sure that when those books come from home back into my classroom, they go into a container. I will be sanitizing those and making sure they're nice and safe for a few days before I put them out on the shelves again. Okay, so I'll make sure to be very careful. School materials. So what I want you to bring from home, I want you to bring a water bottle. Bring a water bottle, okay? If you can't find one or you need me to help you purchase one, you just let me know, okay? But what we're going to be doing is not using the water fountains. Those are all out of use, and we'll be filling them up in the classroom, or water bottles. But try to take them home each night and clean them, and just put it right back into your backpack so you don't forget it for the next day. Of course, bring some school supplies and bring a pouch to carry your supplies. So something, it could even be a gallon Ziploc bag, something to carry your supplies in. Let's say your child is going to specials or going to science, they need pencils and color pencils and things. They could put it in an easily carryable pouch and they could take it to, with them, because they need their own materials. We're not sharing school materials because we want to be safe. And of course, we're going to be bringing our Chromebooks to and from school when the school does get those. Okay, here we have important info and our schedules. I am going to let you pause this and read it. Basically, the gist is everything's going to be sanitized. Buses, okay, playground areas, everything is, we're going to try to be very careful. If you are coming to drop off your kids in the morning and they're not using the bus, we're not doing early bird. So you need to come to the east gates to enter. That's by the playground areas around 8:30. If it's a late start Monday, 9:30. And we just want to make sure the kids are kind of not going to all the different doors. If they're eating breakfast, they'll be screened before breakfast. So screening means that their temperature will be taken. They'll check their symptoms. Safety throughout the day. If you can't physically distance, then of course you wear a face mask. We will not be mixing classes just because we want to keep with our own class. We don't want to mix all the classes together. I'll talk more later about how lunchtime will work, and we will just make sure that every hour we're sanitizing and washing our hands. All right, so we have lunch. Lunchtime is from 12:20 to 12:40. Okay, and then the kids go out to recess after that. They do not need to wear a mask out at recess because they're able to go out and physically distance and play, and we'll be in the cafeteria. So that's great. We don't have to eat in our classrooms. We'll be eating in the cafeteria, and they'll make sure that we're being very careful and wearing our face masks to the cafeteria, taking them off while we eat, sanitizing, that sort of thing. All right, specials classes. So these will be 75 minutes of specials each day, and we'll just make sure that we are wearing masks, and we'll just be sanitizing as we go. End of the day. I talked about this prior, about disinfecting the chairs and the tables and stacking the chairs. And this is more for the kids, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But basically, we're going to be dismissing class by class, so we're not having all the kids go at once out to the buses or out to their parent pickup. What we're going to be using this year is Class Dojo. Many of you, probably most of you, have used Class Dojo before, and we use that for communication. And this is our class right now. Of course, right now I don't have all the little details in there quite yet. I'm getting parents connected one by one. We'll be using it, like I mentioned, for parent communication and also for behavior. I'll be showing parents at parent-teacher conferences how their behavior is going, how the students' behavior is going. And for parents, you're going to go to a link that I'll send you. Here's a link here, but I also send you the link you can click on. Homework. In my classroom, I understand that families are busy, and some families will have more time to spend on homework than others. I do encourage my kids each day to read 20 to 30 minutes at home, because I have so many books in my classroom library and the school library, and probably at home too, that you guys have books for your kids. But I do want them to read, and they can even read a magazine. They just need to read. Then also math homework. We never try to just push so much math homework on them that it's overwhelming. We want them to do as much as they can. And I'll talk more about the students later. But in all, realistically, there shouldn't be minimal time, should be about 40 minutes, and you shouldn't go too much more than that because we know you're busy and you have sports and extracurricular activities going on. What happens when your child is absent? So when you're absent, it's just like how it has been in the past. You'll just let me know. Try to give me a week in advance. I know if you're sick, that's not going to happen, and we'll kind of just work around that. And I will give you a packet of what you'll need. Use YouTube for math. I'll show you the students later how to do that. There's just so many great resources. And then there's lots of resources for language arts on the Clever tab, which students have been using. And I'll also show them how to do that. Now, if you have any questions, please let me know. You can message me, you can email me, all those wonderful things. I will leave my information in the message that I send you connected to this video. Hi again. I hope that wasn't too painful. I tried to make it simple, but I know it was a lot of information simply because I want you to be informed. And since I can't meet with you face to face, I thought this would be a good option. Okay, now I'm going to take you on a quick tour. I don't want to waste too much more of your time, but bear with me. You're going to see that I had mentioned that I love sunflowers. So I'm going to be like flipping the camera around a lot. All right, so this is kind of interesting as I'm doing it. All right, so here we have some reading nooks right behind me. Okay, and we got different bulletin boards. You're going to see we have Chromebooks over here. We're the charging station. There'll be a sanitizing station. Classroom library is also right behind me. I'm going to really try to get out of the shot here. There we go. Classroom library. We have lots of books. Not only do we have books over here in this area, but we have books right behind me. We got more bulletin boards. We have round tables. Like I said, when we are in the learning environment and we're getting the lesson, they'll be at these tables, but as soon as we're doing independent work, they can take off their masks and be 6 feet apart and have a break. So yeah, here is my classroom. My desk is a little messy because I'm in teacher training mode. Well, teacher meeting mode, I should say. We've been in a lot of meetings this week. All right, I'm gonna try to flip around my camera a little. Oh, this will give you a good picture of it. All right, this will give you a better idea of what my classroom is like. It's really hard to get the whole thing, but it's a pretty warm, comforting classroom, and we're just going to be having lots and lots of fun in it this year. Super excited. Please I'm an open book. Ask me any questions that you have. I'm so excited for this school year to start, and I'm really excited for your child to be in my classroom. I'm just really excited, as you can tell. So I will see your child on Monday, and thanks for joining me today. Have a great day and an awesome weekend.